look at designing and developing attention-grabbing packaging and labeling for the food and drinks industry. So packaging, I mean, what is packaging? Traditionally, packaging would have been a container or a tool to contain a food product or a drink, keep it fresh, keep it safe. That's changed. That's the more traditional approach. Now packaging is it's a means to communicate with the consumer. It's a brand promoter, something to engage with the consumer with. So we're going to look at some innovations in labelling and packaging, what's happening in the food and beverage sector. We look at differentiation, some personalisation, some various campaigns that have been employed throughout Europe. Food and drink regulations. We all remember FIR and FIC, which took us by storm last year. Some challenges that we had to face. The space challenges, I call it, restricting our fonts, etc., and our brand promotion availability on certain packaging and labelling. We look at some tips on how to give your brand more standout and how to reduce costs. And finally, I'd be quite happy to answer any questions or queries you have at our stand. I'll touch on again. So just to give you a little bit about us, award-winning label printers, we scooped a prize last year at the Irish Print Awards for our Dunstore Simply Better Reserve range. Very proud moment for the company. We're in business since 1992. As it happens, it's our birthday this month. We're 23 years in business, and a friend of mine emailed me earlier to congratulate me and to say, keep going, soon you'll be good at it. Specialists in the food sector, we traditionally started supplying the software industry back in the early 90s. However, the demise of the 3.5-inch hard disks, as some of you will remember, we had to change our focus with the demise of the demand there, and we found ourselves supplying the FMCG sector and associated businesses. We're now specialists in the food sector, the largest independently owned label producer in Ireland, working with all major retailers, food producers, packers and manufacturers. So what's new in packaging and labelling? Well, the biggest innovation right now is the move to digital printing. For labelling, shrink sleeve, all forms of packaging. And what's driving this is cost reduction. Foiling and embossing, two embellishments, are now being employed to heighten brand awareness on premium look and feel products, micro-marketing, personalisation. Dara touched on some similar campaigns in the previous presentation. Look at RFID as a security tag to combat theft, pilferage along the supply chain. Again, in the drink and beverage industries, a lot of personalised campaigns, some limited editions, collectibles, and we'll touch on smart packaging to wrap up. So why digital? Well, FMCG managers, brand owners, brand engineers and designers now want an awful lot more through packaging. They want differentiation, they want the consumer to have greater engagement with the brand, they want greater brand awareness, they want it done fast, and they want it done in a cost-effective manner. And digital lends itself to all of the above. Customised prints. We're all familiar with the likes of funkypigeon.com, photobox.com, notonthehighstreet.com, and all of these websites use digital technology to provide us with our custom prints, be it a photograph album, from our holidays in the summer, greeting card, get well soon card. Everything is customised. And the quality now that digital offers is comparable to the traditional forms of print. And not only that, 97% of the PMS colour gamut is now available through digital technology. And as each technology is launched, the speed gets faster, and as a direct result, the cost comes down. One of the cost drivers, or one of the supporters to cost reduction, I should say, is the requirement for no origination. There's no plates. You can change designs as often as you want. We can change labels, shrink film, stretch film on the fly. So it allows consumers to reduce their stock levels. It reduces obsolescence. You only order what you need. Now, whilst sometimes the unit cost can be a little bit higher, overall, strategically, it's a far better solution compared to some traditional forms of print. Sustainable also, I mentioned on the cost, landfill reduced through reduction of obsolescence, endless material options which once were only available through flexographic and litho print, it's now all coming together for digital. So we're going to look at some extra touch and shelf standout options used in various forms of labels in this particular slide. Broken Trail, in an effort to reflect their Texan heritage, used a raised print to mimic a cattle ranch stamp on their range of barbecue sauces. Onuma Honey worked with the designer Akioni in Japan, and they chose a very simple but effective bright sweet colour swatch for their range of honey. The particular symbol is printed in a tactile finish. It is the symbol for honey in Japanese. The jars were then packed in brown paper, a very simple but effective less is more concept. The peaches here, produced by a new market entrant, and in an effort to keep costs low, just used a very simple digital label which doubled as a tamper seal, using the clear jar to let the consumer see the product in its natural state. Nutella, one of Ferrero's biggest brands, launched a personalised campaign some years back. At the trial, which was launched originally in Belgium, 185,000 customers logged on to the website to order the product directly. It's also listed in the Guardian newspaper's top 10 Christmas stocking fillers. Heinz Get Well Soup campaign, not only did it treble customer engagement, but Heinz donated £1 for every purchase to support children's activities in hospitals. Moving on to reinventing categories, looking at making it easy for the consumer, we have two products here. The first one, Scratch Fresh Meal Kits, recipes by Michel Roux, who we all know, use a clear, recyclable PET tray, the object of which allows the consumer to see the products on the shelf prior to purchase. This particular tray is then finished with a craft liner, craft sleeve, to give that authentic look and feel. Pasta La Vista, a well-known Italian pasta range, used a quite unique type of carton, which looks like a chef's hat. The window allowing the consumer again to see the product, but also kind of double as the chef's hair in an animated sense. The chef reflecting the handmade tradition of the particular product. Hailed as pure marketing genius, the Coca-Cola personalised campaign, Share a Coke, originally launched in Australia in 2011 using a combination of both reviewer and digital technology, saw an increase in sales from that campaign of 7% for Coca-Cola. Huge success. Absolutely unique. 4 million different printed bottles were launched from the Swedish plant of Absolute Vodka, which drove a demand for collectibles. At the time, it's the first and only ever limited edition alcohol beverage campaign. Shandong, in an effort to target a younger demographic in the US, underwent a trendy makeover with this new, more affordable sparkling wine. Some labelling innovations. Cerveceria Sagrada of Mexico used the Lucia era of the 1950s to inspire the packaging we use and the labels here on the bottles. As you can see, it's each label kind of represents a mask of the superhero of that particular age. Foundlanders rum depicts a boat which might have been used by fishermen travelling to the Caribbean, trading rum and spices for fish. Again, this kind of reflects the history and the heritage of that particular brand. My own personal favourite, Stranger and Stranger in London, developed this kind of apothecary style, medicinal look and feel for their number 13 Christmas Spirit. Bottle is then wrapped in a very simple newspaper type material. The cork is sealed with an elastic band. Their mantra is "Don't fit in, stand out." Fox and Rabbit, a fruity aperitif, used a very vibrant colour, very simple design. Again, focused on young professional couples as their demographic. So regulation, FIR and FIC. So what did it mean for us? What did it mean for brand owners? Well, the increase in technical data, GDAs, nutritional information, traffic light system, reduced brand availability. It increased costs through new designs, artwork charges, origination costs, and in certain cases required some products to have a second label or a larger sleeve or pack on it. Again, doubling costs in certain cases. So what can we do to combat such challenges? Well, digital print allows us to order only what we need at a given point in time and will reduce costs. Alternatively, we can use different finishing techniques such as high build varnish, embossing, foiling to retain product standard. A new technology, linerless labels. Certainly getting more traction now in the FMCG sector, ideally suited for high run volumes. It applies at a rate of about a unit per second. It's very cost effective insofar as it doesn't require any backing paper. So therefore landfill cost, backing paper is not recyclable, so landfill costs are greatly reduced. Environmentally friendly on the basis it uses less chemicals as there is very little adhesive on the back. A very good branding opportunity as the surface area tends to be quite large for C and DRAM products. RFID, radio frequency identification, eking its way back into the FMCG sector on foot of a directive of one of the major retailers in the UK, who decided to tag all meat products with a value of £5 and upwards in an effort to combat theft, pilferage, shrinkage throughout the supply chain. Some of the Irish retailers are now employing the same strategy. Whilst it is an expensive commodity, but the tags can range anywhere between 1.5 and 2 cents, which is a big figure for food products. It appears to have the desired effect. Some innovation packaging. Vivid Water launched water in a carton, or water in a box, I should say. This particular carton comes from a renewable source, is completely recyclable, and the material is supplied from sustainably managed forests. Remy Martin are now using NFC technology, near field communication, with a view to engage with the consumer. The idea being an app is downloaded to the phone is tapped on the lid of the bottle, and a 3-stage process begins, which allows the consumer to detect tampering. It proves product authenticity and engages with the consumer. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope I've given you something to take away from today. Myself and my colleagues will be only too delighted to answer any questions or queries you have on stand 14, which is up on the left-hand side to the main hall. Thanks for your time.